no matter what you do, you're not going to get out of this life alive. Given that I recognized this probably around the age of 50, because now I was on the downside of my life cycle, I realized I know I'm going to die. I don't know when I'm going to die, and I don't know how I'm going to die, but I'm going to die. So, given that I cannot live forever, despite the fact I'm determined to live forever, what am I going to do with my time, and what attitude am I going to take towards life, given that I'm a dead man? I'm a dead man walking, as they say in the prisons. Well, I tried a philosophy. And that philosophy was, I got to milk this life for all the pleasure and fun I could get out of it. Which is why I drive you all crazy. Because it's fun. I mean, look at my sparring partner. I love him. I give him a little shit. He gives me a little back. We have a little spar. And I enjoy him. He puts some spunk into my life. I love to give Rick hell. And then Rick doesn't know what to do with it, and I get a kick out of it. It gets me excited. All right, Rick, come on. Fight with me back. Go and show me off. And that gives me pleasure. Well, the problem with the philosophy that life is a game, which is what I'm describing to you, the problem with life as a game is that occasionally it gives you a real suck. It knocks you out. It really sticks it to you. You have loved ones that die, or something happens to you physically or mentally in which you are in extreme pain. And when you are extremely physically unhappy or mentally unhappy, it's hard to remember the old story about the engineer that the reason he went to Panama to drain the swamp, I mean the reason when the engineer went to Panama and he's sitting there in the lake and he's got alligators all around him, it's hard for him to remember that the reason he was there was to drain the swamp. Because the alligators are trying to eat him in the meantime. Well, about 2-3 months ago, I found myself having a problem peeing. Now, I never had this problem before. I didn't even understand the word prostrate.
Prostate.
Prostate. It's a state of pros. Thank you. I didn't understand the word. I didn't understand what it meant. I just prayed to the great comedian above that it doesn't happen to me. And my problem got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it got really bad. And I found out what being uncomfortable is like. Then I found out about this word that I didn't know what it meant, which is a cathoid, catheter. Right. Wonderful word. I'd like to kill the man who made it. I'd like to kill the man who invented it. And I'd like to kill every nurse who's ever installed one. So much for trying to milk this life for all the pleasure you can get out of it. So for the last week and a half, I have one. I understood that when you get this problem with the prostate, it affects your sex life, affects this, and I'm going, what did they say about the good die young? Misquoted. The smart die young. And the rest of us idiots, we want to get old. Why in the world do we want to get old? They talk about that getting old isn't for the slighted heart.
Sissies.
Huh?
Getting old isn't for sissies.
For sissies, isn't for the slighted heart. And it's true. It's really a life's a bummer. And it really makes it hard for you to keep focused on the game, the pleasure, while you're getting slammed on both sides going along. Well, I decided to come today. I haven't been out of the house except to go to doctors in the last 2 weeks. And I decided to come today, and just sitting in that chair is uncomfortable. Of course, listening to some of the people talking is uncomfortable, but that problem I've always had. So what can I take out of this today? Because this is supposed to be inspire the audience. Well, number one, I thought about inspiring you to commit suicide when you reach a point when you can't operate properly. My father's 96 years old. He can't get his thoughts out of his mouth. He can't organize his thoughts in his brain, but the body still works. And I keep telling him, Dad, leave. Leave. You don't need to suffer like this. Take off. And he won't listen to me. He wants to leave, but he's afraid to. And I'm going through this baloney with the prostate, and I go, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter how good business is, all my attention is on my prostate. I'll ignore it, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. My mistake. 1 minute.
So what value can I give to the speech for me and for us? And I remember one of my basic philosophies that's at the root of my existence. And that is never, 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 ever give up. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Willard.